Today we're going to talk about what you think you should say, or what you even have to say, when somebody says a certain something to you. If it sounds a bit confusing, don't worry, because we're going to go into extensive detail.
Exactly. Basically, all of that started with the conversation I had at work with a friend of mine. Mm-hmm. She's also an expat. We talked a bit about the podcast, and she asked, what we are doing with that and so on. And I tried to explain, we try to solve day-to-day problems for expats or answer questions or things like that. And then she said, I always wanted to ask a Swiss person a certain question, and that is, what do I say if I say goodbye? So if the other person says ade, do I also have to say ade, which means goodbye? Mm-hmm. Or if a person says something different, what do I have to say, basically? And that's when we came up with this topic, and then you had similar ideas. So so that's what we're going to talk about today. And we have put some questions together, or situations that basically we thought might be confusing, or could be confusing potentially. It's quite hard to say.
Because this kind of conversation started off a whole kind of spiral effect of other situations where I said, well, it's not just that situation where you think you have to say something in particular back, but what about this and what about that?
Yeah, not just that is weird and confusing in Switzerland. It's also this and so on. And what do I do then? And what happens if I say something wrong and so on? So we try to talk a bit about that today, and hopefully I can give some different perspectives to people who are listening. I think often these conversations we have, and especially with you or other expats, is make me feel a bit, it's a bit somehow sad, because I think people make too much, they think too much what they should say or could say or are not allowed to say, and hopefully we can clean up the mess a little bit and make life a tiny bit easier.
That would be nice. So let's start with the example where it all began then, which is saying goodbye. And I tell you why we're talking about this, because when you said to me that our friend thinks that she has to say something particular back,
yes,
I said, actually, I have the impression that you're supposed to say something completely different back. So if somebody says ade, you have to come up with another word to say instead. And then they have to come up with another word, and you have to come up with something else.
And nice evening.
I don't know. And it goes on and on and on and on and on. Have a good weekend. Have a good evening. Have a great week. Thanks a lot. Yeah, no, thank you. And see you next week. And enjoy your Feierabend. And goodbye, 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 goodbye. And I thought, I don't even know enough German words to have a good conversation like that.
Yeah, well, it's quite funny. We had also this discussion in our Facebook group, which is called Switzerland for English Speakers. And one I don't know, was it, I can't really remember who it was, but said as well some similar things, that the goodbye thing takes quite a long time. Mm-hmm. And that made me laugh, because I haven't ever thought about it till you mentioned it. And obviously it's a problem for many of us.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I try to answer your question.
Yes, please.
There are two different things you can say. One is the du version, the informal, is that? Or
like a friendly, informal.
And the Sie version, so if you are formal, which you would be maybe to your boss or to someone you don't know and have a lot of respect, like an older person, older in the sense of,
more like an elder.
25 plus or something like that.
Okay, yeah.
I don't go into history, how it developed and how it was 50 years ago or 20 years ago. But today I would say, at work or a person you have never met before, you might be formal. So there are these two things. You can be formal or informal.
And we should just say that we're only talking about the Swiss-German part of Switzerland at this point. We're not good enough in French to go into that, are we?
Nor Italian, nor Romansh. So.
Good.
And so the German word for the formal is ade or adieu, which means bye. Mm-hmm. Both of them, they are formal. Both of them you can theoretically say also in an informal way. Adieu, not so much. That's quite formal. Mm-hmm. And then you have all the other stuff, like tschüss, ciao, and so on. That is informal. And that you can say in any situation, but not when it's formal. So like for an interview, you probably wouldn't say that. It's a bit, too friendly. If you are per se, how does that translate in English?
Just if you kind of want to show respect, I guess.
Okay.
We don't have this differentiation, really.
Okay.